Welcome back, students. In this session, we are going to discuss about some CET questions from the chapter excretory products and their elimination. Okay, so coming to the first question, that is, podocytes occur in. The options given are large intestine, glomerulus of kidney, wall of capillaries, and neck region. So actually, what are podocytes? Okay, where they are present, you should know that. So basically, podocytes are the cells which are present in Bowman's capsule. Okay, you all know where this Bowman's capsule is present. Okay, in the kidney. On the inner layer, okay, here on the inner layer, there are podocyte cells. Okay, they wrap around capillaries. Sorry. So this is Bowman's capsule, and on the inner layer there are podocytes. See, these are the glomerulus through which the blood enters into capillary and exit outside from the capillaries. So here they wrap, okay, these podocytes wrap this capillaries of glomerulus, and they make the epithelial lining. Okay, they make the epithelial lining of Bowman's capsule. That is actually the third layer through which filtration of blood takes place. So here the answer will be the second option, that is glomerulus of kidney. Okay. Now moving to the second question. The end product of ornithine cycle is. The question is the end product of ornithine cycle is. The options are like this: urea, NH3, uric acid, and CO2. So basically, what you have to know is what is ornithine cycle. Okay, ornithine cycle is a urea cycle. Understand this? Ornithine cycle is a urea cycle, or a biochemical reaction that produces urea, and this cycle takes place in uricotilic animals or uricotilic organisms. So in this ornithine cycle, what happens? Ammonia is converted into ammonia, that is NH3, is converted into urea. Okay, ammonia is highly toxic in nature, which gets converted into urea. So the end product of ornithine cycle is urea. Okay, so now we'll move for the next question. Here the question given is, reabsorption in tubules of nephrons occur by. And the options are osmosis, diffusion, active transport, both diffusion and active transport. So here in kidney, what happens? Primarily in Bowman's capsule, absorption takes place, and then when it comes to the tubules, okay, reabsorption takes place. So this part, okay, reabsorption in tubules is the second process in urine formation through filtrate. Understand this? It is a second process. In this process reabsorption, what happens? Whatever the filtrate which is observed in the Bowman's capsule, okay, from glomerulus. So here the first process will be taking place, that is absorption from the blood, and when the filtrate moves through this tubular region, okay, here a reabsorption takes place. It will be the water, the amount of water and ions will be reabsorbed by diffusion and active transport. Okay, it is reabsorbed by both diffusion as well as active transport. Okay, here when the diffusion takes place, when the concentration of molecules move from higher concentration to lower concentration, that is diffusion, simple diffusion, okay, through a semi permeable membrane. But in case of active transport, here what happens? At the lower tubular region, the lower tubular region, that is Henle's loop, what happens? The movement of molecules will be in opposite direction, that is they will move from lower concentration to higher concentration to happen. That, okay, that is against the concentration gradient. If any molecules have to move against the concentration gradient, then there is need of some amount of energy, okay, and that is why it also takes active transport and diffusion. So the answer is both B and C. So here the answer is both B and C. The reabsorption in tubules of nephron occurs by both diffusion as well as active transport. So coming to the fourth question, that is toxic substance are detoxified in human body in. So here toxic substance means which is not required for the body, okay, and detoxification, that means breaking down of toxic particles from the body. So here the options given are kidney, liver, lungs and stomach. So here, as you may get confused in between these two options, okay, kidney and liver, because kidney also helps in the excretion of toxic particles from the body, okay, but to detoxify, for example, if you are consuming any medicine or food or any unwanted sorry if you are consuming any unwanted food or alcohol, for example, if the person is consuming alcohol, if the person is consuming some medicines, okay, they directly won't go to the intestine. So first they will get breakdown by the liver, okay. So liver plays a major role in detoxification. So the answer is third option, that is liver. See here, whatever the blood which coming from either stomach or intestine, that has to pass through the liver, okay. When they pass through the liver, this liver will produce fluid or liquid called bile juice, and that will help in carrying away the waste products from the body, okay. So now we'll move to the next question. In which of the following minimum content of urea is present? Okay, the option goes like this: hepatic portal vein, renal vein, and vena cava. So to know this answer, what happens? You have to know so which vessels are connected or carry the blood which is filtered in the kidney directly to the heart. So here, the blood which is purified in the kidney is connected to this, will move to this inferior vena cava of the heart. Okay, sorry, this is inferior vena cava of the heart. Okay, and this is superior vena cava. So here, from the kidney, the whatever the blood is filtered, it will move to inferior vena cava. And which of the vessel will carry this? If you know this, you will get the answer, and that vessel is, okay, renal vein. Okay, renal vein will carry the filter blood from the kidney to inferior vena cava of heart, and this will be carrying the minimum quantity of urea, okay, in the blood. So this is answer. We'll move for the next question. Yeah, the question is duct of Bellini is concerned with, and the options are filtrate of urine, purification of urine, conduction of urine, all the above. So the first thing you have to know is what is duct of Bellini. Okay. So here, what is duct of Bellini? They are also known as papillary duct. Okay, they are also known as papillary duct, or simply they are known as collecting duct or collecting tubes, okay, in the renal cortex. So these collecting ducts, what do? They conduct urine, okay. So the answer will be conducting of conduction of urine, okay, that is gathering of urine in urinary bladder. So here the question is, which one of the following statement in regard to the excretion by the human kidneys is correct? So the first option is ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to electrolytes. And the second option is descending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water. And the third option is distal convoluted tubule is incapable of reabsorbing bicarbonate. And the fourth option is nearly 99% of the glomerular filter is reabsorbed by the renal tubules. So coming to the first option, what they have given, ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to electrolytes. Okay, the statement is false. The ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water, not electrolytes. Okay, it is impermeable to water and permeable to electrolytes. And in the second option, descending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water. They are permeable to water, okay, but not permeable, but impermeable to electrolytes. So both the sentence are wrong, both the statements given is wrong. And the third option is distal convoluted tubule is incapable of reabsorbing bicarbonate. So here the function of the distal convoluted tubule itself is reabsorption. Okay, it won't retard bicarbonate from reabsorbing. It has a capable or capacity of absorbing reabsorbing bicarbonate. So this statement is also false. And the fourth statement is nearly 99% of glomerulus filtrate is absorbed by renal tubules. Yes, so whatever the filtrate which is absorbed by glomerulus, okay, about 99% of that filtrate is again reabsorbed into the blood. Okay, the excess water or excess ions which is required, which is actually required for the body, will be reabsorbed by the blood, okay, for the balancing of water as well as electrolytes in the blood. So the fourth statement, nearly 99% of the glomerular filter is reabsorbed by the renal tubules. That is, the total filtrate in a healthy person, okay, per day is about 180 liters. Okay, it was in a theory class. You should recall this. Okay, 180 liters. The total amount of filtrate per day which is absorbed by kidney. Okay, out of this 180 liters, okay, only 1.5 liters approximately of 1.5 liters will be excreted out of the body. That is, if you compare the ratio 180 liters filtrate and 1.5 that is excreted out of the body, so the remaining whatever the amount 178 or 178.5 approx, okay, that will be reabsorbed into the blood. So the answer is D, that is option D. So coming to the eighth question, that is, if Henel's loop were absent from mammalian nephron, which of the following is to be expected? So the question is, if there is no Henle's loop, okay, in the nephron, so what will it lead to? What is the cause or disorder? The option goes like this. The first option is there will be no urine formation. There will be, in the second option, there will be hardly any change in the quality and quantity of urine form. In the third option, the urine will be more concentrated, and the fourth option is the urine will be more dilute. So to know the answer, you should know what Henle's loop will do. Okay, as I already explained in the previous question, in Henle's loop, what happens? Okay, reabsorption takes place. Reabsorption of water and sodium chloride mainly. Okay, from that is from urine. Okay, whatever the filtrate which is passing through the proximal convoluted tubule, okay, that is through Henle's loop, there reabsorption of water and sodium chloride from the urine will be taken back to the blood. Okay, hence in the absence of Henle's loop, the urine will become more dilute. That means if there is no reabsorption, then whatever the filter which is taken or observed in the Bowman's capsule, okay, all that amount of water will be stored as such, and that will move to the collecting duct. Okay, then it will be in a very very dilute manner. Okay, that means if the amount of water is not reabsorbed, then that will be remained as such in the filtrate, and that high amount of water, okay, will cause dilution of filtrate. So the answer is the urine will be more dilute. Okay, but in case if there is more reabsorption, then the urine will be more concentrated. Okay, but here according to this question, the answer is the urine will be more dilute as there is no reabsorption. Which blood vessel in mammals would normally carry the largest amount of urea? So here the answer is hepatic vein. Okay, directly I am explaining the answer. Why hepatic vein? Okay, you should know this. Hepatic vein is present in liver. Okay, and urea is produced in the liver. Urea is produced in liver, and hepatic vein is present in liver. So hepatic veins carry maximum amount of urea, and also the conversion of ammonia into ammonia is a highly toxic chemical. Okay, that conversion of ammonia into urea is also done in liver, and later it gets released into the blood, and further which is filtered out by kidneys. So now we'll move for the next question. The question here is, in ornithine cycle, okay, that is urea cycle, enzyme arginase breaks down arginine into, okay, so here what you have to know is about arginase enzyme. Okay, this enzyme is a manganese containing enzyme. Okay, it is a manganese containing enzyme, and the reaction here is, okay, in this cycle what happens, arginine, here I will write it as short as A. Okay, this is arginine plus H2O, okay, which gives rise to ornithine plus urea. And this arginase is the final enzyme. Okay, it is the final enzyme of urea cycle. So the answer is ornithine plus urea. Okay, here it is in the third option, ornithine and urea. Should remember this, arginine plus H2O, okay, combined with water will gives rise to ornithine and urea. Okay, and that is done by the enzyme arginase, and it is the final enzyme in the production of urea. And now we'll move to the assertion reason questions. As you already know, there will be 5 options in this kind. Okay, where assertion and reason are correct, and reason for that assertion explanation will be right. If you have to see both assertion and reasons, then you have to decide which of the following. Okay, you'll get to know further. So coming to this 11th question, that is assertion type questions. Here the assertion given is, during physiology of excretion, dementia does not takes place in liver. So to know whether this statement is true or false, what you have to know? You have to know what is dementia. Okay, during physiology of excretion, that means in the process of excretion, during excrete formation, dementia does not takes place in liver. So what is dementia? Dementia is a process of converting amino acid into keto acid. Okay, dementia is conversion of amino acid into keto acid with the release of NH3, and here NH3 will be released, and this process, okay, will takes place in liver. Okay, here they have given it will does not take place in liver, so the statement is wrong. The assertion, the statement which is given in the assertion is wrong. Okay, now we'll move for the reason. So what is the reason they have given? Dementia is a process to make use of excess of ammonia acid which cannot be incorporated into protoplasm. Here the statement is true. Okay, dementia is a process to make use of excess ammonia, that is conversion of ammonia, okay, into keto acid. So here ammonia acid which cannot be incorporated into protoplasm. So ammonia acids are toxic in nature, that is why they have to be converted into other forms. Okay, here ammonia acid is converted into keto acid with the release of NH3. Okay, that is ammonia will be released in this process, and this occurs in liver. So reason, the statement given in the reason is true, but this is not the explanation for this, because as you know that assertion itself is a wrong, and this reason will not be the explanation of the assertion. So here assertion is wrong and reason is correct. Now we have to go for which option? Here you can see in the fifth option, that is assertion is incorrect but reason is correct. You have to go for this option, that is E. Okay, assertion is incorrect and reason is correct. Here coming to the 12th question, the assertion given is secreting hypotonic urine is effective in reducing urinary loss of water. Here, here hypotonic urine means concentration of urine is less. Okay, concentration of urine is less than what? Than that of blood. Okay, the concentration of urine is less than that of blood. So here, and what is hypertonic? Okay, here the question given is hypertonic, but what is hypertonic? In hypertonic the concentration of blood will be more. Okay, so the concentration of urine is more than blood in hypertonic, but here the condition is hypotonic, so concentration of urine is less than that of blood. So it helps in reducing the loss of water within urine. Okay, and the urine is filtered by the Bowman's capsule, as you already know, and this in tubules of nephrons reabsorption takes place, a large quantity of water making urine more concentrated. Okay, that is large amount of water will be reabsorbed and it converts the urine into concentrated urine. So here secreting hypotonic urine is effective in reducing urinary loss of water. So the statement is false. Okay, because if only it is hypertonic urine, okay, not hypertonic urine, what happens? It leads to high osmotic pressure than the blood. Okay, therefore it helps reducing loss of water. Okay, if the condition is hypertonic, it will helps in reducing loss of water within urine, but in case of hypotonic it will cause a lot of loss of water. So the assertion, the statement is false. Okay, so coming to the reason, hypotonic urine is more concentrated and high in osmotic pressure. As I already explained, hypotonic is less concentrated, hypertonic is more concentrated. So directly you can go for this conclusion that hypotonic urine is more concentrated and higher in osmotic pressure. This is false. Okay, because hypotonic is less concentrated, hypertonic is more concentrated. So both assertion is wrong and the reason is also false. So here you have to go for the fourth option, that is both assertion and reason is false, is incorrect. Okay, here in this assertion and reasoning there are only four options. Okay, in the previous one there were five options, don't get confused. So see this, take a screenshot or note it down. So coming to the next question, here the assertion, the statement given is in assertion, aldosterone is a steroid hormone and is important in control of sodium and potassium ion concentration in mammals. So yes, aldosterone is a steroid hormone. You have to remember, okay, these are lipid soluble, which we have discussed in hormone interaction or hormone action reaction, okay, within the cells. So here aldosterone is a steroid hormone, and the main function of this steroid hormone, okay, is to regulate sodium content of the body. Okay, it is the main function of this aldosterons, that is particularly this mineralocorticoids. You have to remember this also. Okay, there are mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, but this aldosterone belongs to mineralocorticoids group of hormones. Okay, so what does it do? It increases the sodium ion concentration in blood. Okay, it increases sodium ion concentration in blood by absorbing sodium ions from renal tubules. Okay, so one more thing which you have to remember is, okay, if there is more amount of aldosterone, if more and more amount of aldosterone is synthesized, so that will lead to high blood pressure, high bp, okay, or high blood volume. Because when there is increase in aldosterone, that will lead to more absorption of sodium, as its main function is to regulate sodium and potassium. If it is increased, when it is hyper secreted, okay, when hyper secretion of aldosterone happens, sodium and potassium will be observed more and more, okay, in the blood, and that leads to increase in the blood pressure or also increase in the blood volume. Okay, so here the assertion, the sentence which is given in assertion is true. Now let's come to the reason part. So here it upgrades sodium ion concentration in the ECF by promoting reabsorption of sodium ions from renal tubules and excretion of potassium ions in urine. So as I already explained, the function of aldosterone is to control sodium and potassium, okay, that too from the renal tubules. So the reason is true, the sentence which is given here is true, and this reason is the exact explanation of this assertion. Okay, not only it is true, but it is also the explanation for the, this reason is also the explanation for assertion. So for which option you have to go now? See here, you have to go for the first option, that is if both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So this is the right option, as both are correct and reason is an explanation of assertion. So coming to the 14th question, that is here the assertion given is ultrafiltration takes place in presence of effective filtration pressure. So here ultrafiltration actually takes place in renal corpuscles, okay, of a urinary tube or uriniferous tubules. See, during this process, what happens? Okay, blood is filtered and contains only blood plasma. Okay, blood is filtered and contains only blood plasma, that is proteins. Okay, the filtered blood will enter into Bowman's capsule is called glomerular filter. Okay, so the statement given is true. Ultrafiltration takes place in presence of effective filtration. Okay, here the statement is true. Now the assertion is true. Now we'll go for the reason. In ultrafiltration process, blood is filtered in Bowman's capsule. Filtered fluid contain protein and blood corpuscles also. So here it contains only blood plasma but not blood corpuscles. So the reason is incorrect. Okay. So here the assertion is true and reason is incorrect. So we have to go for the option. Here from 14th to 18th question, there are only 4 options. Okay, here we have to see the assertion is correct and reason is incorrect. Here you can see in third option the assertion is correct but the reason is incorrect. Okay, this is the answer. And now we'll move for the 15th question. So here the assertion given is in vertebrates the liver is also referred as an accessory excretory organ. As you all know, accessory excretory organs, okay, in vertebrates are lungs, liver and skin. Okay, these are refers to as accessory excretory organs. So this statement is true. uh, Besides the urinary system, okay, these organs will participate in removal of waste products. Okay, so the main urinary system is kidney. Other than that, they also these, okay, liver, lungs and skin also help in excretion, that is removal of waste products from the body. Okay, so the statement given in the assertion is true. Now we'll go for the reason. Liver helps kidneys in the secretion of urine. See, basically liver is a principal organ, okay, for excretion like cholesterol, bile pigments, that is bile pigments, we call it as bilirubin and bilirubinin. Okay, these are the bile pigments which are excreted, and inactivated products of steroid hormones. Okay, and also some amount of vitamins and some amount of drugs. This substance will be secreted in bile and indirectly helps in the formation of urea. So here the reason is false or incorrect. Okay, because liver help in formation of urea through amino acids in ornithine cycle. Okay, in ornithine cycle, it has nothing to do with secretion of urine. Okay, it has nothing to do with, or it has no role in secretion of urine. It helps in ornithine cycle. So the reason given here is wrong, and this is not the exact explanation of assertion, as the reason itself is wrong. So here the assertion is right and the reason is wrong. Again you have to go for the third option, that is here, if assertion is correct but reason is incorrect. Okay, this is the option. I'll move to the next question. So you're coming to the assertion. The main constituent of human urine is ammonia. Here, understand this. Urine is made up of, that is conversion of ammonia into urea. So the constituent here, the constituent they have asking is the constituent of urine. So here ammonia is not the constituent of urine. Okay, urea is the constituent of urine, not ammonia. So the assertion is wrong. So what you have to know is urea is a chief, okay, that is major nitrogenous constituent of human urine. Okay, so coming to the reason, if human urine is allowed to stand for some time, it smells strongly of ammonia. That is, after excretion of urine in the open place, okay, if it stays there for long period, then we can get to know a pungent smell. Okay, that is because of ammonia, but that is not because of constituent of urine. Okay, that is because bacterial degeneration takes place and that leads to production of ammonia. That is not because the constituent of ammonia is present, that is because of bacterial degeneration and production of ammonia from urine, and thus it smells strong. So the reason is also false. Okay, so here we have to go for the fourth option, that is assertion is incorrect and reason is incorrect. Here the both assertion and reason are incorrect. Okay, so coming to the 17th question, here the assertion given is hemodialysis can save and prolong the life of uremic patients. That is, in diabetes patients, what happens, there will be no production of insulin or breakdown of sugars. Okay, that leads to the increase in the sugar concentration in blood, which leads to diabetes. Here hemodialysis means it is a artificial way of purifying the blood. Okay, when the person or the patient is unable to produce the hormones which are necessary, like insulin, which are necessary for the breakdown of glucose, then what happens, that sugar will be stored in the blood, so that has to be treated. Okay, and that process of treating the blood outside the body or filtering the blood outside the body is called hemodialysis, and that can save and prolong the life of uremic patients. So the assertion is true. Here coming to the reason, waste products like urea can be removed from the blood by the process of hemodialysis. Yes, hemodialysis is a process of removing the waste, okay, from the blood. So the reason is true. and the explanation of this reason to the given assertion is also true. Okay, so here assertion is true, reason is true, and the reason is the exact explanation of the assertion. Okay, so for this we have to go for the first option, that is both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is correct explanation of assertion. Okay, now we'll move for the next question. Here in the 18th question, that is the assertion given is in the descending limb of loop of Henle. Okay, here in loop of Henle, this is the descending limb, this is the ascending limb. In descending limb of loop of Henle, the urine is hypertonic, whereas ascending loop of Henle, the urine is hypotonic. Here they are said, here in this part the urine is hypertonic, that is high concentration of urea, and here on the other side it is low concentration of urea, that is hypotonic. So here what you have to know is descending limb. Okay, this part descending limb is permeable to water, so that the water molecules which are present will come outside. Okay, when the water molecules are reduced from the filtrate, then the concentration of urine will eventually be more. Okay, so the concentration of urine is more as given in the assertion. And on the other side, on the ascending limb, okay, it is permeable to ions. So here absorption of water take place, and then again the concentration of urea will be decreased, which leads to hypotonic solution on this side, and hypertonic on the descending will be hypertonic, and ascending will be hypotonic. Okay, so the given assertion is true. Descending limb of loop of Henle, the urine is hypertonic, whereas in ascending limb the urine is hypotonic. So coming to the reason, descending limb is impermeable to sodium, while ascending limb is impermeable to water. So here the statement is true. Descending limb is impermeable to sodium, okay, but it is permeable to water, while ascending limb is impermeable to water but permeable to ions. Okay, so the sentence given in the reason is true, and this is the exact explanation for assertion. Okay, this is the right explanation for the given assertion. So assertion is right, reason is right, and the explanation which is given in the reason for this assertion is also true. So you have to go again for the first option, that is both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Okay, so here these are the few CET questions which we are discussed from the chapter excretory products and their elimination. Okay, thank you for listening.